Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Jernigan, and this is the weekly meeting of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. You're welcome to join us. We meet every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And if you knit and would like to just come and share tips and your progress on whatever you're working on, that's fine. And if you are working on a Phrancko sweater, that's even better. But please do come join us. Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Hi, Serena.
Hello.
Hi, Sandra.
Hello.
Hi, Sumner.
Hey,
Hi, Jenny.
hello everyone.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Wally.
Hi, Frank.
Nice to see you all again. How's
How's
everyone?
the dog?
You.
How's the dog finding going, Frank? Have you
Uh,
chosen a dog yet?
we chose a dog and then we weren't chosen to be the owners.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
So,
Oh,
uh,
discouraging.
Oh,
so that was disappointing. But
Mm.
uh, it, it, the dogs we choose are often very, very popular, and so they have to decide who's going to be the person who gets to take them home.
I see.
And they didn't select us for some reason. We think we're ideal dog owners. Anyway, we're looking at another dog on Monday afternoon, who's coming to meet us in a park, and we will see how that goes. So
Oh,
we're still
okay.
looking, still looking.
Frank, you travel so much. Have you thought about you're going to have to board the dog probably?
Yes, often the foster parent that is showing the dog to us will say, if you go on a trip, you can always bring the dog back to me for a week.
Mm.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
That's cool.
convenient. The dog is already familiar with that environment and they're familiar with having the dog. And many of these foster parents have multiple dogs in their home, and they have some they're that are their dogs and some that they're just fostering until they can be adopted.
I see.
When I was adopting Mr. Beauregard, I had I had worked a lot and had to travel. So one of the requirements that the agency wanted to make sure is that I actually had a plan for when I traveled for work. And luckily, we have some really great kennels around that have been in business for 40 plus years. So Mr. Beauregard used to stay and was so cute. This one particular place, they had farm animals,
Oh,
and
Oh.
he was very good with the chickens, but but very afraid of the cow. But yeah, no, it's a lot when you travel and having a dog. It really is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration.
And it's
It is.
very expensive to board them.
It
Uh,
is.
yeah, I went on a really nice trip to Ireland and I came back and the dog's hotel was more than mine.
Yeah.
And and part of that trip, we went to England and we stayed at the Plaza at Victoria Station, which is a five-star
Ooh,
hotel.
Mm.
yeah.
The
Well,
dog was still more expensive than the Plaza.
Wow.
I'm just
Oh,
saying.
wow.
Yeah.
So fun.
It was kind of fun. Oh, I wanted to clarify. So the Suzanne Bryant sale that's on her Ravelry store,
yes.
when you check out, the discount is on checkout. So you have to check out the full priced item, but then as you finally complete your purchase, she adjusts the 50%.
That's
And
right.
that's throughout the month of October.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
And you don't need a coupon or anything
No,
for
no
that. It just
coupon,
does it
just
automatically.
to check out.
It just
Mhm.
happens when you go
Just
to
Just
checkout.
happens
like a
automatically.
Phrancko, it's magic.
to report on something that we talked about a few weeks ago. I don't know exactly when it was, but we were talking about possum.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, me getting all my looking stuff up and everything, I finally figured out where it was that I had seen the thing years ago about possum yarn. And it was an interview that Suzanne had done with the woman that had Skeins Yarn in New Zealand, and it's Skeinz. And so they were the ones that had the possum yarn. And it's like about 90% merino wool and then 10% possum. And then also I went down the rabbit hole, right? Maybe the possum hole, I don't know. Went down the hole. And I found a sweater that was for sale in New Zealand, and I ordered it. And it was from Etsy, and it was a huge sweater. And so here it is. It just came today. It is a
Oh,
beautiful
wow.
cabled sweater. It's
Wow.
men's size.
Oh,
It's
Mm.
it was used, but it's all done. It's just beautiful.
Oh,
Really,
wow.
really pretty.
Beautiful.
Look at
Yeah.
that.
And so
Wow.
it's from the measurements, it's Jerry's size, so he'll get it. And I was really excited. It is very soft. It's woolly. You would like it, Sumner. Kind of a toothy, but it is soft against my neck, and just kind of it's really neat. It's this lovely kind of oatmeal color.
Oh,
So
beautiful
the
sweater.
sweater itself was not that expensive. It was very reasonable. The shipping, however, was phenomenal. But
Brutal.
I didn't have to pay any duty or anything. It just came. So it wasn't that horrible, really. It wasn't
Oh,
that
that's
bad.
fun.
And then another thing that the same store had for sale was this knitting book, which I thought looked just really interesting. It's Vogue Classic Knits. And so it's the patterns. Didn't look and see what year it was. Doesn't say what year, but it's all these different, kind of interesting, different
Oh, that's nice.
Mm.
Vogue knits.
Oh,
I thought
very
that one was
cute.
really cute.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I like
Some
that.
really just very. Oh, this one's gorgeous.
Mm.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Oh,
really
wow.
classic styles. I mean, it's really, really pretty. So, oh, this one also. I like just the two color, really sharp looking.
Mm.
I thought that was
That.
nice. So
Boat
anyway,
necks.
there's a whole bunch of.
Yeah.
That one says it was from 1957. Is when that popular. Oh, so they're doing different. They took old patterns, classic patterns, and then updated them. So that was from 1957. The Harlequin sweater was from 1927 originally, and then
I
they
love
Oh,
it.
updated the
wow.
patterns. I know, yeah, some of them they're just really
Wow.
cool. So anyway, it's very, very. The
Funny
hairstyles
shipping.
are interesting though,
Oh, yeah. Very
but
80s.
Oh,
that's a
wow.
cute little vest.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
was from
just shipped
1932.
candy to my niece in Korea, and it
Mhm.
was $102 to ship 3 pounds of candy.
Oh
Woo.
wow!
Oh my gosh.
And that was
Did
just regular US Post.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got the cheaper New Zealand Post, and I was like, okay, well maybe it'll come by Christmas or something, but it really came pretty quickly. They shipped it right away, and it was only like maybe 5 days in New Zealand until it was then on the boat, and then it said it was or on the plane, and then it was in the States, but then they don't track it after that. After it lands in the United States, they don't track it. And so I'm like, well, if it shows up, it shows up. If it doesn't, it wasn't that much money. But it came today. So
Mm.
it didn't, I think it only got in the States on the 22nd. So
Wow.
it came really quite quickly.
That's beautiful.
So,
Very
but
nice.
anyway, it was fun. It was kind of an interesting thing to do the research and to find it and see. And because I could not find it anywhere in the States or Canada that it was for sale. The kind of yarn, and I just thought I want to know. And then when I was searching and they said they had the one, and that was the only sweater that I found that had possum in it that showed up. And it's like, okay, it's Joey's size. We'll just order it.
That's fun.
Like that. That was great.
Mm.
That was good. So anyway, it was fun.
Talking about lucking out, I've been watching a couple of podcasts where they're more in the New England states, and they talk about they go into Goodwill and they find real yarn and they get it for, cents on the pound and things. And so today we were running errands and we needed to drop some things off at Goodwill. And I said to my husband, I go, I think I'm going to run in there and check for yarn. So they have yarn. It's
Uh-oh.
We all already laughed, we know.
Uh-oh.
I didn't buy any yarn. I just said, well, that's cool. And I left. Yeah.
That's
But
fun.
I do know the section to go to, once in a while. I guess there could be the off. I mean, we have a really good local yarn store here. So you would think eventually there'd be some yarn that would show up at Goodwill. But I didn't have great luck.
Oh,
I love what Ron does as a local yarn store. He'll actually take people's stash and sell it like on consignment at a
Oh,
steep
wow.
discount for the local community to buy off-priced, high-quality yarns. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. He is very clever, that Ron.
Hmm.
If he watches this meeting, that is really cool. I love that.
Does he make public what the name of his yarn store is?
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It's called the Twisted Skein.
Skein, yeah.
Yeah. It's Suzanne Bryan's local yarn store.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're
He's
both
famous.
in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
In
I
Bakersfield.
never knew that.
Wow.
Yeah, who would have thought such an amazing, like a wonderful like yarn store that you would go to is in such a hot climate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
So
Suzanne lives in a hot climate. Does she live in Bakersfield?
Yeah, Bakersfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, very, very warm.
I went to a town somewhere, I think in Florida, here where I live in. There was a discount store like a Goodwill, but it was only crafts.
Oh,
And I thought that was such a clever idea. So you could go to different parts of the store, and some was like paper crafts and knitting, crochet, and paint. And I was like, that is such a clever idea.
I don't know. I always thought that we need to promote our mental health through crafts, right? Like I think if I didn't have knitting, I'd be even crazier than I am. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, huh? That commit me.
And then you could really do crafts.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be making wallets. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
They may not let you glue anything, but
Yeah, no.
but you'd be doing some kind of crafts, I bet.
Yeah,
They may not give you pointy needles.
yeah, no. It was funny. I've always worried about flying because I fly a lot. And I think Frank does too. But I've never been stopped or searched with circular needles.
No.
Ever. I've always been able to fly with my metal needles. I
Hmm.
wonder what they think is going on in there when they x-ray the bag.
Years ago, I did get stopped and inspected, and they asked what it was, and I pulled out the set of needles, and I said, "It's just knitting needles." And they said, "Oh, okay," and sent me on my way. And then after that, I never got stopped again. I continued to put it in my carry-on luggage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've never
maybe
had-
they've gotten used to seeing them or something. That was years ago. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they didn't expect a guy to have needles, knitting needles. I don't know.
Well, if you think about it, all the instructors,
Yeah.
they have to fly with their equipment if that's what they do for a living,
Yeah.
the knitting instructors.
Well, I'll make my weekly report to be accountable.
Oh, wonderful.
So I'm still,
The cat meow.
Yeah, because you just started talking. So here comes Kitty.
is it
I love that.
fun while we were pre-show, and I think she's taking a nap. But
That's
the
funny.
cat and the dog in here. So I don't really recall where I was this time last week, but I didn't work on it as much this week because I had a stressful week and I didn't want stressful knitting on it. The tension of
Yep.
stress knitting, and I thought it would really show up on this yarn, but I'm just so excited.
Boy, that looks great.
Oh,
Oh,
look at that.
nice. Look at
Well
that.
done.
It is going
Well
done.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really going super well, and um
Hmm.
that pretty.
Yeah.
That took
That's great yarn.
yeah. Anyway, but so I'm excited about doing one for me with a larger gauge. But what's stopping me is making my swatch because I'd have to stop and knit a swatch, right?
Hmm.
So I need to get after that. And look, I dropped a bunch of these. And then had mentioned last week that I was using this yarn from Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
In here. So I had to get another skein of this color, and I went in, and this week they didn't have their sale going on, so I only bought one. So this is priced at $7, and it's not as good a deal unless you catch them with their sales that are going on. But I've been super impressed with that yarn. And look, this is called stress knitting because it just doesn't matter, right? On the gauge when you're going to felt it. But see how that's turning out?
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Oh,
Great.
Yeah,
nice.
very nice.
Yeah. So I've started putting it out with my husband saying, look, first I said you have a skinny scarf. Now we're getting much longer, etc. And today he goes, when are you going to get that done? So that's good. He's excited about it. Maybe Christmas. That's a go. It's for Christmas. So that could be your Christmas present right there. Yeah. So anyway, it's nice to have something mindless and also tensionless. It just doesn't matter if your tensions are changing or not as you go through your work week, you know. But I'm happy to be back on this guy, and I'm hoping that what would be be separating for the sleeves by this time next week. That's the goal there. So it's magic, still magic. A lot of magic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that you just do it, you follow the instructions, and it comes out. It's like,
Yeah.
it really does feel like, oh, well, you look at that. And I had my doubts. And then, boom, it's all perfect.
And you keep thinking, and it's all the sizes that I need it to be at. It's not what a generic sizing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
that's what I measured.
yes, so I am well, I could take up the whole time talking about it, but I need to share this time.
That's fun.
But so the one that I would like to knit, I think for myself would be a crew neck one. But do you have a drop shoulder also? Or is
No,
it
no. The whole
strap?
point is I'm using Phrancko's seamless set-in sleeves. So they're all the architecture of set-in sleeves.
All right.
So drop shoulders, I mean, Drop shoulders are good for what they are, but the architecture leaves a bulk of yarn or
Mhm.
fabric under the arm, and it's a look, but the set-in sleeve shoulder is a more fitted look, and
Mhm.
so that's what I was going for, and when I created this way of knitting set-in sleeves that were knitted in the round instead of in pieces and then sewn together.
Well, what I would like to knit is one that has a Norwegian colorwork motif across. So without knowing how you're, because I'm guessing in the crew, once you get the neck going across, you go back into the round, or
Uh-huh.
knitting in the round.
Oh, right. And so what do? You don't want the color work to go across the sleeves, the sleeve caps,
Okay,
or
I'm
do
fine.
you?
My issue, I guess it would work out because I don't prefer to knit the yolks, the round yolks, because of when you lift up your arms, you
Yeah, I
risk
understand. Yeah.
that bulk coming up with
No,
you.
no, they're not. Only the specified yoke design is a yoke design. The others are not yokes.
Okay.
The
So if I
the others are just
it,
like what you're working on, where you get to the point where the shoulders are connected across the back and everything is knitted in the round essentially. And so you can put color work across the front, but you have to do something to get the color across the sleeve caps so you can continue the color work across the back.
Mhm.
So often what I do is just continue the color work around over the sleeve caps. So it just follows around. It doesn't end up looking like a yoked sweater, even though it's kind of a yoke-like thing.
Are there examples on uh,
Um,
there
yes, let me see. Let me
that
find an example. I did an early one that
Well,
I can
hasn't
show
Ron
you.
done some that are like that too? I
Oh,
thought
I'm sure
like
Ron's done
he'd done
everything.
some, yeah. Yeah, but I thought he did. I thought that like the one that he did that was kind of like that take on the old fashioned ski sweaters from
oh,
like maybe the 1980s. He had one that was like that.
okay.
Yeah, but that was a set and sleeve one.
Well, I
Well,
would be
yeah,
with
Yeah,
that. Um,
he did the fully fashioned decrease down the sleeve. Very nice.
it was beautiful.
Okay, here's one. Let me share this screen. Um, share. There it is. There. Um, so you can see the color work goes across the front, but there's
mhm.
also, it continues over the sleeve cap. Here's another view of it. It happened to be on a saddle shoulder sweater, but it doesn't have to be a saddle shoulder sweater. It would work the same way on a crew neck sweater.
So because I'm knitting the saddle shoulder right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but I'm doing it all in one color, so I really didn't visualize the blocking because he did it in the two, like in Tarja, two colors, up there at the top. Oh, hey, that's great.
What are you seeing?
Okay, I'm seeing that if I did, for my preference, I would like the saddle shoulder and the front yoke to be one color, and I might want to put lice in it. Is that, the
Yeah,
little,
Mm-hmm.
nice had the specs. Yeah.
yes, the little specks, and then do a Norwegian pattern across the chest, and then drop it down. I mean, transition it down back to lice and do that over the body.
All of that's fine. The question I have is when you do it across the chest, do you mean across the chest and around the sleeve caps?
Yes.
Yeah, like this. Now I
Yes.
happen in this pattern, I changed the pattern at the sleeve caps. If you see,
Yes, I
it
was
just
thinking
changed but you don't have to change the pattern at the sleeve cap. But there is going to be a break in the pattern. If I can maybe get this closer. Do you see this break, this line down here where
Yeah.
that is the set-in sleeve faux seam. There's no real seam there, but that demarks the set-in sleeve cap.
Okay.
And
So
so at that point, your pattern will be discontinuous, the way this one is discontinuous. And I accentuated that by knitting a single color all the way down that stitch to create the yellow line down from top to bottom. And then I made a different pattern. Oh, actually, I reversed the colors of the pattern for the sleeve cap.
I like that because I might take my pattern, which I think my main motif would be a bold one, and then I might just pick out an element of it to do in that transitional part on the sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Break it, do an element of the bold pattern, and then pick the bold pattern back up to go across the back. Or I could lice across the sleeves. Yeah.
Yes, you could do that too.
Okay. I thought Ron, no, this is one you did, Frank, right?
Yes.
Not, okay. At the beginning, I thought you were showing me what Ron had done, but
Oh, no,
this,
I don't have any runs.
okay. Yeah, that's really sharp. So, okay, and that was the saddle. So do you have, or is that that's crew neck with the saddle?
No, that's a saddle shoulder. That is the saddle shoulder pattern, but the crew neck would work the same way. I mean, by the time you get down to where this pattern is, the crew neck is identical. I mean, you've already finished the crew neck.
Okay.
You finished the crew neck or the saddle. So there, by the time you get to the patterned area, it would work the same way in either style.
Super sharp. Well, good. You solved some things for me right there.
Okay.
So I can find this on your, where? Where can I find that image?
Well, that particular image was on Ravelry. It's called Phrancko's. That doesn't make sense. It's the Weaving Diamonds Sweater. That's actually his name. And I don't know
Okay.
why.
I think that just solved my houndstooth pattern with the Phrancko.
Yeah.
That sleeve transition is exquisite. I should have known you figured it out. I should have known.
Have you started that, Sumner?
No, I'm swatching it, but I really do want to make the hoodie first. So it's kind of in queue. What I do is I always swatch while I'm making a sweater for the next. So my swatch that I already did was for the hoodie. So that's on deck.
Okay.
This is going to be probably February, March knitting.
Now, is the one that's on deck the one that Frank's been waiting 2 years for?
Yes, it is. That's the one.
So
You
he's been
wouldn't-
standing on deck for quite some time.
Thank you,
this
Sandra. I
yard.
wasn't going to mention it.
None of
this
us was going to
yard.
mention that.
But I finally swatched it because I got this Aran alpaca. I got the
Oh.
Aran weight alpaca.
We should have an accountability group, like everybody show your swatch. Come in.
Yeah. I'd be in so much trouble. This week I had so much knitting for Suzanne that I'm now just knitting my sweater again. And then Cindy,
Yes.
I hate lace.
Oh gosh, you and me both.
Oh
You and
my
me
I love
both.
lace.
It is just not my favorite. I got
had
it
to-
and I could do it.
I had to do this swatch.
Oh, lovely.
Fifth one. Fifth one.
I know.
Five. There's a bonfire out behind my house.
Well, and the thing for me was I had to muck with it to get a yarn over increases. to be the same size, because depending on which stitch you're coming from and which stitch you're going to, it might be different, and it might be like a little extra large or a little extra small. And then it's like you as you do your pattern, you see, oh, this whole line of ones are way too big. They don't match the others. And I don't like that. But I did
Yeah.
figure out, how to do it.
Mine was
not
losing my
happy.
place on my chart.
Mhm.
So I'd put an extra couple of rows in the middle that were the same, or, it was awful, awful. Is there a lot of lace in Master Hand Knitting program?
No,
Oh, thank God.
it seems like at each level there's about one.
Okay, well, I think I might be able to cope with that, but wow, not a fan.
I would
Looks
think
great.
Except for I did see that the one that we have to do for level 3, and I read through it and I didn't pay any attention, but then they had the TKGA kind of meeting this morning for people that were working on the levels. And I was in the level 3 one, and this lady was asking about the lace. It's like, can I use number 10 crochet cotton to do the lace doily, the circular one that we have to do? And she was showing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm way in over my head. And it was beautiful. It was just this little teeny thing about 1 inch that she had started, and it was just all perfect and all tiny. And it was like, she's using sewing thread for that. This is awful.
Wow.
I'm just like,
Yeah, okay.
but
Well,
it's beautiful, and it is only one swatch. So I'm sure I can, if I can do double knitting, I'm sure I can do that.
Uh-oh, quiet everybody. We gotta stop talking about Ron now.
Uh-oh.
No, do go on.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
who's that?
How's everyone?
Hey,
We're good. How are you doing? Looks like you might be at the theater again.
I am indeed. I'm changing over
Well, you were
into
saying it was like Steel Magnolias?
Steel Magnolias. Yeah.
I
See,
love that.
yeah, me
it's
too.
it's
Yeah.
going very, very well. Very, very, very
Oh,
well.
good,
But
good,
yeah,
good.
we're transforming into a salon. Got a hair dryer.
How cute.
That's fun.
Great. That's great.
That's
So
perfect.
that's where I've been all morning, and we just reached a stopping point. So I got on my meeting.
Oh, good.
Very good. We're glad you're here.
Loving the colour on the beard. Very good.
Yeah, I immediately put myself back to normal after my show closed. Just like sheared myself, repurpled. Now I recognize myself in the mirror.
well, earlier,
Purple's my favorite color.
Ron, we were talking about doing a Phrancko with color work across, and they mentioned that you might have done that as well.
Yes.
Do you have an example? I know you're not at your shop.
I do. I have a steeked cardigan that has color work across it after the shaping. You think you're doing one with shaping in the and for the whole body?
You mean after the sleeve cap shaping or after the
Yes, yeah.
neckline shaping? Oh,
After all the shaping.
so you started below the sleeve caps.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, Jesus.
Is that
We
the
were
one
talking
that kind of
about
looks
how
like trees or something? I think like
It's just like a little design that reminds me of marbled paper.
okay.
It's a pink and violet.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
we were talking about the issue of putting color work across the chest while you're still doing the sleeve cap shaping.
Yes. So I
And
I
how
have
does
not
it
knitted
resolve
one,
that?
but one of my Phrancko class students did or is still working on hers. So we went through the whole process of working that and getting the patterns to match up, and because like your circular yoke that has the contrast saddle and sleeve cap.
Yes.
That is the same
Yeah.
exact principle.
Yes.
She decided to do, she got what becomes the all over pattern once it hits the body is just between the shoulders, and then the sleeve cap and into the sleeves is a lice pattern.
Uh-huh.
So window painting and putting lice in the. I hope you know I'm not suggesting you get lice.
No, actually, let me ask you about that. I actually considered doing that for the sweater that I have shown you. Um, and the problem is a lice pattern doesn't have color on every single line. It might skip 3 lines, but
Ladder back checkered.
but across your shoulder, your chest, you're not skipping those 3 lines. So, oh, you used the ladder back all the way across the sleeve cap, huh? I guess it does work, huh?
Yeah, and it might be 4 or 5 inches, and then you just lay them together, and yeah, works quite nicely. And then the whole sleeve cap is the same basic double thickness as the, rather than trying to do one long strand. And where you're going to move a lot, you find that doing regular float trapping when there's nothing going on, because especially if the yarns are high contrast, it makes unattractive pulling, and the high contrast yarn peeks through if you do normal, like traditional stranded yarn trapping. So ladder back checkered helps with if you're transitioning from an every row fair isle style or even a set of stall style into a lice pattern, which is generally every 4th or 5th row, maybe.
You know how you're never supposed to point out the errors in your sweaters because nobody's supposed to notice them well, let's go back to that sweater I just talked about. While we were looking at this, I noticed, do you see across the top of the pattern? You see the peek through from behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
The brown is peeking through. That's because I'm carrying a yarn across the back, and I did not use ladder back jacquard because I didn't know about it at the time. But this is what you want to avoid, having that peek through when you're doing
That's exactly what we found in the swatches. Luckily, I make sure to learn everything retroactively.
Yes. Well, I learned everything from you, Ron, and Sam, and all the rest of you.
We are a mutual repository of knowledge. I think we're a great think tank. But no, that's
life's too short for any of us to make all the mistakes. We've got to kind of each make some.
I often tell people I am happy to learn from my mistakes, but I am much happier to learn from others.
Amen.
But yeah, and an arm has movement, and that sweater you've shown has very, very high contrast and lower contrast, or with a woollier yarn, it might not have peeked through at all. But but ladder back is very, very versatile, and for exactly that kind of purpose is when it would come in handy.
Well, you've just given me an idea for my next design, so thank you. I've been thinking about doing seed stitch lice stitch on the sleeve caps ever since I tackled this problem.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, there's the problem I presented to you, is you're not carrying it on every line. Anyway, you know what? It's only a few minutes to go and we haven't started sharing our work. So
that's the part I didn't want to miss.
Yeah. Everybody, show us what you're doing.
Well, I'm building the set for Steel Magnolias. I think my green stripe on my cardigan, which is in my backpack, once again, I'm carrying it around, lying to myself that I will work on it between things, has gotten maybe a ½ inch longer since the last time I showed you. So it can stay in the backpack.
½ inch is a ½ inch, though. You know, it's progress.
Yeah. Everything we make 1 stitch at a time. So everything's progress.
Well, I'm doing a funny little, it's a 1 row scarf, and it's very basic, very just very, very plain. You knit two, you knit one through the back loop, and then you purl one. And so it's a pattern of a multiple of 4 plus 2, because then you have 2 extra knits at the end. But why I'm doing this, I'm just getting it started. My eldest daughter has been knitting dishcloths finally, and she has decided that she's ready to graduate to something else, and she wants to make a scarf. So I went through and picked out some yarn, and so I cast on for her, and I'm getting it started, and then she's going to do it. But it's like another knitter is born. I'm so happy.
Hooray.
Can you hold that up closer to the camera so we can see?
You can see this is the row where it's like knit behind. So you do knit 2, knit 1 through the back loop, and then a purl. And these, where you knit through the back loop, it's twisting each one. And so it gives that, it almost kind of looks like a row of stockinette, but it's a twisted thing. And it's totally reversible, but it's the same on the back side. So it's really a neat, very simple little pattern.
Where did you pull the stitch pattern from? Is this something you've done before, or did you find a good stitch pattern?
Well, I found one, but then the way that they did it was a little bit different. And then I found a lady on YouTube that was 2 minutes long. And she's like, well, I do this, but I slip the first one as if to knit, but I don't knit it. And the last one, I knit it through the back loop, the last stitch on the back loop to get kind of the edge. And so that's the way I'm doing it. And if I think of if I find the pattern, because I gave it to her, it's downstairs. I don't have it here. But it's like just I think she called it an easy 1-row scarf. What it was. It was a free pattern.
Yeah, it's adorable.
So it is. It's just cute, and it's just perfect for just very beginning. It's like, okay, because she had done 6 or 8 dishcloths, and her tension in garter is really good. And so, and she knows how to do a yarn over increase and a knit 2 together. So, and she's learned how to bind off, so she can do those things. So I'm like, okay, you can do this one. So she's learning to purl.
Oh, that's great.
That's fun. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been trying to get them into it for forever, and she finally did. So it was great. It was good.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm finishing the fingers on the gloves. These
Oh, wow.
Look.
Those have really
And-
come along.
Wally, you're very impressive.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. But we're learning all this stuff because Frank keeps asking. So the thing is that this is a basic glove, and it's designed by a Harry Wells. The needle size is 2, and they wanted to do it in double pointed needles, but I did it all in magic loops. So,
Yeah, I don't think that matters.
yeah, and no, I mean I liked it in magic loop. It was easier for me. And
I have little glove needles. They're teeny.
yeah. I have 1,000 double points, but I never use them. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm definitely going to make another pair for me.
Those look great.
Yeah.
Let me see them
I
again.
was,
Put them
I
up.
was,
That's so impressive.
yeah. I mean, I was wondering how you do the decreases, but they're just knit 2 together.
Yeah, they're nothing. Oh, good for
Yeah,
you.
they're nothing. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's great.
And
Yeah.
the pattern is on Ravelry, is it?
I have no idea. I got it. It was printed. It's from Harry Wells. That's why it's because of the designer. So,
I know him. I've met Harry.
all right. So the yarn was from Needle Arts, and the color was willow. So
Harry was at one of the men's knitting retreats that I went to. And
okay.
Oh, that's cool.
I knew him.
Because every time you ask, where's the yarn or what color, I said, you know what, I'm gonna have to start a book. Because Frank's gonna always ask, so you might as well tell him. So that's what I've been doing. I'm impressed myself. I have to go get another pair. I have to make a pair now. So
That's great.
yeah.
I'll go next then. So I finished my hat that I was working on.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
Yeah, and
wow.
that's the crown.
Ah, that's gorgeous. Look at that.
Oh, pretty.
Mm.
So I'm really pleased with that. So and I'm now trying to work out if I can make a pair of mittens, and there isn't a pair of mittens for this pattern, but I'm going to try and get the pattern onto a pair of mittens somehow.
Oh, that'd
So
be
we'll see
good.
what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Can you
Yes.
But yeah,
show the decrease detail on the crowns? They use the contrast color for the decreases there.
yes, yeah. So they are slip one, knit two together, pass slip, stitch over.
Wow.
Is the
Fabulous.
What a
decrease.
decorative design, though. Wow.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 segments.
Mhm.
I thought there were
Is it-
usually 6 on most hats.
Is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
1, 2, 3,
And yeah,
It is
7.
7.
4.
Yes.
It's 7
Yes,
sections.
7.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just exquisite.
Yeah.
That is gorgeous.
That's
So I'm
pretty.
really pleased with that. Yes.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Yeah. We'll see how the mittens go.
Mm.
I think any Selbu mitten or Norwegian mitten would be able to fit that pattern.
I hope so. Yes. I found
Mm.
a mitten pattern. I just got to see if I can. A pattern for mittens. I just got to see if I can get this pattern on it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Oh, very nice.
It would be not that decorative that looks like the decorative decrease in the contrast color that looks like a plait.
Would be pretty.
Yes.
There would be pretty.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Cindy, with all of her level 3 research, will be able to help find you a bind off that would complement it.
Oh yes, because I have to have 6 different cast-ons and bind-offs,
Yeah.
and they should look good together. So the
There's the cat.
cast-on on the wrist and the bind-off on the fingers should go together.
There's a cat.
There's the cat. Yes.
I did.
Mascot cat.
I put the link to the
Oh.
pattern. It's from Ravelry. It's the 1-row hand spun scarf. It's by Stephanie
Oh yes.
Pearl McPhee. That's who it is. So I put the link in the chat. Oh, that's a pretty cat. It's 3
Yeah, ain't it?
colors.
Cute.
Wow.
What's his
Beautiful.
name?
It's a female. Her name is Lily, and she's 17 years old, and she's a
Oh.
rescue.
Wow.
Wow.
Yowza.
Hi, Lily.
Wow.
Got her when she was 2.
Oh.
Oh,
She
she's wonderful.
looks great for 17.
Yeah.
She does look really good.
She's a great cat, and she really doesn't like to be held very much.
Square and square and square.
But
Ready
she
to
likes
get
to she
down.
likes to talk. She likes to talk.
She likes this knitting podcast because she showed up.
Oh, interesting.
That's fun.
Made her appearance. We didn't hear from Serena.
Oh, I know. I'll show you. You can tell exactly what these are, right?
Oh, how cute.
These will be Izzy dolls.
Oh.
Have you guys heard of
Oh,
Izzy
I haven't
dolls?
heard that. No.
No.
They're often knitted for charity, and I think I have a picture that I could show you right quick from Ravelry.
Oh,
they're
cute. Yes,
cute.
yes.
Oh, look at that.
Aww.
Oh, wow.
I recognize them now, but I hadn't seen.
Yeah, so I have
knew what
an
they were called.
acquaintance who's having twin girls.
Oh.
Oh,
So I
that's gonna
thought this would
fun.
be a cute little first stuffed animal for them.
Mm.
And
Very
so
lovely.
they're
Yeah.
very fun and easy. And I might put skirts on them.
Cute.
You can actually add a skirt. So we'll see.
Well, that'd be
Oh,
cute.
This is by Esther Braithwaite. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And I believe that same Esther has a whole series of YouTube videos on how to do the finishing and make them.
All right.
So I'd highly recommend them because they're just so quick and easy and great for gifts or charity. So
Well, my guess was bed knob cozy, so I guess I was wrong. Nothing worse than a chilly bed knob.
thank you for asking, though.
Do you remember that song of "Does your chewing gum lose its flavor
Yeah,
on the bedpost overnight"? I mean, it's like when you said that, that was just what came into my mind.
Gosh, I hadn't heard that in ages.
So, Ren, are those your usual glasses? Maybe I just haven't seen you in forever. Those are very
Me?
flattering glasses.
Oh, thank you. It's just my readers.
Oh, are they? Well, they suit
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
So I worked some on my sweater and I got down almost through the ribbing at the bottom of the body. But I'm not going to show you that this week. I'm going to show you, I switched to another project because I'm going to the TKGA retreat that begins on Thursday. Thursday is Halloween, and we're starting with a banquet. And they asked everybody to knit a mask or a disguise or something.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm working on a mask. Let me see.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, look at it. Ah, look at that.
Oh, that's so
Oh, wow.
That's good.
It's
I
really
never
cool.
thought of that.
And
Now, do they have Ravelry patterns for masks, or are you just making
yes,
this
yes,
up?
I got this off Ravelry.
I've never thought to look
Oh,
for
Yeah,
it.
how
neither.
fun.
Let me show you the pattern if I can bring it up. Ah, there it is. Let's see. Share my screen. Yes. There. And I should give full credit to,
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
of course, you start at the bottom.
All
I've just
right.
gotten up to the forehead. I haven't done the cap. Um,
that
and
is so fun.
Yeah.
it's by Happy Seamstress Pattern Company. It's called the Bat Hat.
Wow.
And I got it off of Ravelry for $1.99.
Ah,
It's a bargain.
yes.
Yes.
And since today is only the 26th, there's plenty of time for everyone to make one.
That's right.
Ron, you can make yours in purple and it would match your beard.
Great. Now, if I could be disguised as someone with more time.
That would work.
Sorry, that never happens.
Well, you know, they don't ever have a superhero that just has time.
Hmm.
That would be a perfect superpower.
Right, yeah.
Who wouldn't like that?
Yeah, just add 4 more hours to this day so I can get some stuff done.
Hmm.
Without us being exhausted, right?
Right. If I could just take my nap and then have it be the same time when I wake up.
That would
Yeah, that
work
would be
that way too.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we waste so much time doing that sleeping thing.
Yes. So
Mary, do you have a
Cindy,
square to wiggle?
there we go.
There you go,
Got
there
it.
you go.
3 more reds, and I'm through with the red.
Good.
Oh gosh, you're making
then it'll
progress.
be,
That's cool.
Then I'll do 7 whites.
Mm.
You have been so perseverant with
Yes.
that.
Well,
I'm proud of you.
I'm 2/3 finished.
Good.
How many reds
That is
have you
great.
done? Or how many reds will there be altogether?
15,
15. I see.
All right.
15 reds, 15 whites, and then you will see me knitting on the white.
Is this still the yarn that gives you the shivers?
Yes?
Oh, no.
You haven't yet learned to love it yet?
No?
I wouldn't hold my breath on that happening.
Cindy, on that book you got, the magazine, the 1950 magazine,
Yeah.
do they tell you what they've upgraded on these patterns?
I have not read it. or anything yet.
All right.
I had seen it. It just came today, like just
Mhm.
a few minutes before the meeting. But it was just that it was classic ones that they updated. And
So,
it doesn't look like they say much about that.
yeah, how would they update it?
Okay, based on the highly successful Knitting in Vogue series comes this range of the books from Vogue magazine. It contains 27 designs ranging from the simplest basics such as polo necks, t-shirts, twin sets in cashmere and Shetland wool to textured, sparkly, and fluffy sweaters, cardigans. They don't say anything about
How they upgraded it.
how they upgraded.
Interesting.
Changes in
For some, when I was
terminology.
reading the description, some was to terminology. They do have it looks like they've got a good kind of the conversion chart and that sort of stuff, and saying what the terms mean. But that they did more sizes too, because originally when a bunch of them were done for the older patterns, they would only like be even in one size or maybe two sizes.
Well, every woman
so,
then had only a size 2.
Yeah, that was all. We were all tiny.
Yes.
Of course, if you only go back to even the 1950s, it's like I wasn't even 10 years old, so I could have been small.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah.
Well, I mentioned it because you noticed the models. Yes.
Yeah, the tricolored one, the striped cardigan. The sizes, it's a bust 32, 34, 36, and 38 is all that it was done for. So it didn't go very.
Replacing all the KSPs with SSKs, things like that. Contemporary knitting techniques.
Oh, and they do actually have stars though on it. If it's 2 stars, it's suitable for knitters with some previous experience. 1 star is suitable for beginners.
Oh wow.
Oh,
right.
Of course, that one for beginners, it's like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't knit that. It's just a plain. Well, no, I mean it's a plain dolman sleeve, but it's really fluffy, poofy. I don't know if it's mohair or something, but it's a really difficult yarn to use. So yeah, you might be a beginner, but I'm not. Oh, and then the Harlequin sweater that everybody liked, the blue and white one from 1927. That one is suitable for experienced knitters.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so that would be
colorwork.
Ron and Sumner and Serena.
Yeah.
The rest of us, Jenny could do it too.
Jenny could do it.
Jenny, you whip it right out.
Oh, but the boat neck dolman, that's beginners. So there's quite a few beginners.
Interesting.
I think a bunch of them are cute. A bunch of them are just really classic lines.
The evolution of different magazines on knitting.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting.
Yes, we see your fingers, Ron.
Oh, there might have been noise, so I was trying to. If you're not experienced enough, you're only allowed to make the pullover from the twin set, and you don't get your pearls until you're good enough to do the cardigan.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, very fun.
Well, here's a diagonal pattern shirt blouse. It's in very fine wool. Looks like in fingering. It's got a buttoned front placket and a collar. Look at that. I mean, it's lovely. And you can see the pattern.
Oh, yeah.
It's
wow.
really
Love
pretty.
it.
look at that.
That's they say that's beginner. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're out of their minds.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Beginner, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out of their
Knitters
minds.
these
I think
days are
beginners
so
were
used to
different
being
then.
coddled.
Yes.
Maybe after drinking a bottle of wine, you might be able to get it in.
Cindy, show us. Cindy,
Yes.
show us the front of the book again.
Yeah.
Oh, the front of the book, it's Vogue Classic Knit.
Okay. And is that a book
I
you
can't
purchased
find
today?
the year. It's one that I purchased from New Zealand with with the possum sweater, the person had it. I don't know if it was a man or woman. The person had it, and I'm not finding even a year of when
Is
this was
the year on the
done.
spine on the back on the
Oh,
outside?
on this was published 1986 is when this was.
Oh.
It isn't on the spine.
Okay. Yeah.
I see.
It's
Okay.
not. There it is.
Nice.
By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what they did is they took all these old designs from different years, and they say what year it is. And then they
updated
supposedly updated them.
94.
Yeah.
Now it needs to be updated to 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one from 1942.
That's
And
pretty.
Oh,
if I
wow.
thought
Oh,
that the
that-
socks were really hard,
Yeah.
I mean, I only made
Wow.
one sock. I can tell you I would never make this sweater. Now, I think it's beautiful. And I know the grandkids would love to wear it, but I'm not knitting it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's really, really beautiful.
And that's a super fine gauge.
Yeah.
It is a lot of the stuff in here is super fine gauge. But
Wow.
that one, it does say that it's experienced knitters. It doesn't
Well, yeah, I
say
would hope.
knitters that have lost their every loving mind. It does say experienced ones.
And are those
Yeah.
set in sleeves? Is it knitted in
Yes, it is.
with
It is.
with bell-shaped sleeve
You do-
caps?
Yeah, you do the right front, you do the left front, then sleeves. The sleeves are all worked in one color.
Yeah, and they're having you
They
do
have
those
a-
on straights. They're not
Okay,
even
and
having you
those,
do
it's
them on
interesting. The sleeves are you do them and then you work them until they're 18 inches. So you're starting at the
Mhm.
wrist and work them until they're 18 inches. And then they say to shape the head of the thing. You cast off 4 of the next 2 rows, and then cast off 3 at the beginning of the next 2 rows, and then 2 stitches at the beginning, and then you start doing your decreases to make the head of the
Sleeve. Wow.
Making up, they give you really a lot of instructions for that. Press as instructions on ball band. Sew upside and sleeve seams. Sew in sleeves.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
As if-
Yeah.
As if
Yeah.
that's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
You need a lot of experience on that one.
Can you imagine seeing a ball band with pressing instructions?
I know.
Don't.
Seams with ribbon if required. Make buttonholes in ribbon to correspond with knitted buttonholes. So you've got to make buttonholes in the ribbon that's going to go on the back of the buttonholes. And the buttonhole stitch together. Sew on buttons.
There you go, Sumner. You can do it in a week, right?
No.
Like, they're beautiful, but
Yeah.
it's like what must knitters have been like? I mean, that they could take that little bit of instructions and do it. I mean, I think they
Yeah.
they did it a lot, and that's how they had clothes for themselves and for the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Well, that was so interesting. I'll let us run over a few minutes, but it is time to say goodbye. And thank you for that presentation of your
Yes. Thank you.
book,
Yes,
Cindy.
thanks.
Welcome.
Have a
Bye.
good week. See you next
Bye.
Have
week.
a nice week, everyone.
Bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.